Guys, it's September 1st, and that means that since I actually started filming at the start of a month, I want to do a monthly challenge, you could say. And for me, what I would like to do this month is see how many projects I can get done. So I have like a whole list, and we'll go over that here in a minute. But there is a bunch of stuff that I would like to get done this month that I have started, that whether I started it last year or last week, doesn't really matter. All I know is it's a bunch of stuff I need to get done, and so that is what we are going to focus on this month. This is kind of the start of my goal list. I do have probably more projects laying around as well, not gonna lie. So if I manage, which probably won't, but if I manage to get like this stuff done, then we can look for more projects and add to it. But you guys saw a couple videos ago a sweater I was working on, and I actually ended up frogging it and starting a different sweater because I realized I wasn't gonna have enough yarn. This Chow Chow keychain is really old. You saw the start of this dragon collar as well. My temperature blanket is from last year and it's not done, so we're gonna work on it, but I probably won't finish it this month just because it's really big. Obviously we saw some of this as well, finished working on painting some doors and baseboards. And then last week, so keep in mind this is September 1st for me right now, last week I went elderberry picking, and I need to make syrup from those before they go bad, so that's probably one of the first things we're gonna do. And then I have a paint by number from 2 years ago that I still haven't finished, so we're gonna work on those things. This is the bag that I'm currently sorting. I need to get all the branch stems and stuff separated from teeny tiny little berries, and then this is what the goal is. Funny enough, the berries are so small. They're like the size of peas, and it kind of drives me crazy. It is September 4th. Last night, I finished making the elderberries into a syrup. I did mess up a little bit, so it's a bit more on the liquidy side than I think it would have otherwise been, but for me, it works because of the way I plan on using it. This is the final result. I just put it into a spare jar we had. I think this happens to be a spaghetti jar that we washed, but it works great, and I used it in tea last night. My partner used it in some oat milk. Now my goal for the rest of the afternoon is to finish up the sweater here that I have been working on. I have one sleeve done, just have to finish the other sleeve, and then hopefully weave in my ends. Hopefully I will decide I like the way it fits. It is September 10th. I was gone for a while because I had a bunch of stuff going on, but off camera I did do a lot of work on that sweater that I was talking to you guys about, so I will go ahead and insert a quick clip of me just doing like a 360 in it. Here she is in all her glory. I love it so much. There is the back. Now we are going to go ahead and continue working on the dragon collar I was making. Originally I was actually going to send this to somebody, but I recently discovered what their favorite Pokemon are, and I don't know how much you guys know, but one of my goals is to make all of the Pokemon into some sort of knotting project, and so these are two Pokemon I haven't done yet. They're going on collars. So let's get to the time lapse. When I'm making patterns with the intentions of using them for collars, I have to consider a couple of things. First, I have to consider what the background color of the pattern is going to be, because it has to go well with the picture, but it also has to work well with the color of biothane I have available. I currently only have 4 different colors. That's white, black, dark blue, and then I also have blaze orange. For this pattern, I have a green dragon that I'm trying to match to one of these 4 colors. I ended up going with the dark blue because I could match it with 3 of the 4 colors that I've got, especially because I have black leather thread, so I could use the leather thread to match the border of the dragon.
When picking patterns, I also have to make sure that the pattern's actually going to fit on the biothane I have available. Like I said, I only have 4 colors of biothane and all of it is only an inch thick. That really limits me for how wide the knotted portion of the collar can be. I've found that 12 to 14 bass strings, if I'm using an alpha pattern, is the optimal range, because 12 I can stretch just enough to cover from top to bottom on the collar, and 14 is as wide as I can get without it kind of falling over the edges of the biothane when I go to sew it together. Anything smaller than 12 bass strings, you're going to see gapping, and you'll be able to see the biothane underneath the knotted portion of the project. And again, anything wider, the knotted portion is going to end up falling over. But that also is with my knotting tension and the string thickness that I have. That range can vary some depending on those factors. While I was working on this project, I noticed that I made 2 primary mistakes. Firstly, I used some scrap threads that I had for my base threads, and while working on this project I realized they weren't long enough, so I had to go in and continue using these scrap threads that I had from a different project and add them to the bracelet and switch them out for the base threads that were already there to lengthen them. The second thing is, I wish I would have actually left a little bit more solid blue on either end of the project, because at the end of the video you'll see that the biothane that I used to attach the knotted part of the collar to the rest of it actually overlaps onto the picture a little bit on both sides.
It is September 11th. Yesterday I finished this part of the dragon collar that I am making, and right now I am working on another keychain, so we're gonna go ahead and get into that.
I don't know why I keep saying that this is a keychain. This is a wall hanging of a chow chow that I started over a year ago. I actually was the president of a dog club on my campus when I was making this, with the intention of giving it to them to sell when they do their fundraisers. But clearly that never happened, and I'm now graduated and they don't do a ton of that stuff, it seems like, anymore. So I'm gonna be holding on to this and trying to sell it myself. This pattern is by B-Skin on Bracelet Book, and because there has been such a big gap between when I started this and when I finished it, you can actually see that my knotting tension has loosened up a little bit, because there's a little bit of bowing that happens and my edges aren't super straight. But overall, I still think that it turned out really well. I like it. I think it's cute. And I actually got these threads from a secondhand store, so I kind of feel a little good about that.
Over the weekend, I went on a trip to go see a farm that's in the northern part of my state. My partner is inheriting a farm, so we go to like different events like this to learn and trying to figure out like what we want to do and what we want to try. But I didn't really film at all, but I did work on that I guess it's a wall hanging, but I worked on that, so I'll show you guys that here in a second. Before we went, I'd clean out my car, and one of the things that I've been neglecting to do is fix our car hammock for the dogs, and so yesterday I went ahead and did that. It's a 2-piece car hammock, so this is the smaller piece. The bigger piece, it actually, believe it or not, broke a while ago and we fixed it, but this piece broke also a while ago, but after that piece was fixed, I went ahead and fixed this when I had to pull it out. So the zipper had pulled away that connects it to this larger piece. It had pulled away, so I ended up, I think this like fabric here is like scrunched up slightly in this, or this part here shrunk a little in the wash, I'm not certain, but I ended up ripping the seam up here so that way I could sew the zipper on a little bit easier. The hem piece up here kind of came away from the zipper, and the zipper came away from this, so I went ahead and sewed all of it back together in one go. And then there also was a really big rip in the part that goes from the seat bottom to the back of the front seat. This whole bit was all ripped out, this whole seam was, and so I went ahead and sewed that back together. Looks a little rough right here, but not too bad. This side's a lot rougher, but who cares, right? It works, it's not falling apart. I can like give it a good tug and I'm not concerned about it. So yeah. And then yesterday I also did more work on the quilt that I'm fixing, and I will also show you the wall hanging real quickly. I only have a couple rows left on it, but might as well show you. So it's taped over right now, but I'm finishing up. I think I only have like one more row for the tongue, which is this little bit here. And then I think I have a total of like 4 rows left after this row gets finished. So it's looking pretty good. In the evenings, I've been trying to work on the quilt that you guys have seen in other videos, or my temperature blanket. While I do love my temperature blanket, I think I've been having a hard time finishing it because I have several big projects outside of it. I also find the faster turnaround time of smaller projects to be very satisfying. Between these two things, it's been difficult for me to sit down and work on the temperature blanket, because I could be working on a project that moves faster instead of it being just a big, steady, long project. So I've been working on this for about 2 hours, maybe a little longer, and I got essentially a forward and back pass done, so of the pink, but look at this. She's too cute, guys. Too cute. It is September 18th. I said that this month I wanted to only work on projects that need finished, but my friend requested a specific bracelet pattern for her birthday, so we are going to go ahead and make that real quick because I kind of forgot she requested it. I did remember when her birthday was. Fingers crossed, remember when it is. But I forgot she asked for this bracelet in particular because I've had a lot of other stuff going on. So we are going to go ahead and make that real quick. I actually started it yesterday. We're going to finish it up. And then after that, we will go back to finishing the Chow Chow wall hanging that I actually have all the knotting done for, but I need to actually finish making the part for it to hang on the wall. So last night I finished knotting the Chow Chow wall hanging up. I need to cut some of this off and then make the part for me to actually hang it, but we are going to do that after we finish this, which I started last night. It's going to be the money cow bracelet. I don't think I'm going to turn it into a bracelet. I think I might just figure out a way to tie off the ends and leave it as a strip, but we'll see. It is September 19th. It's kind of hard to see, but this is how far I got on this bracelet. It's kind of a mess right now, but we are going to continue working on it. While this may be a new project and not a WIP that I had when starting this video, it has been a project on my to-do list for a while because, like I said, my friend did ask for this several months prior. When she asked for this, she did have the intention of using it as a decoration on her desk at work, so that is why it is not actually a bracelet but instead just the strip. Both this pattern and the dragon pattern were made by Soda Pop on Bracelet Book. If you can't tell by now, I get most of my patterns from Bracelet Book. The ones I don't get from Bracelet Book, I actually make myself, and a lot of those patterns are made by Soda Pop. If you look on my Instagram, a lot of the dog patterns have been made by Soda Pop, and they are actually known for the iconic cow bracelet. There are other cow bracelet designs out there made by another popular friendship bracelet maker. I like Soda Pop though because they have a bunch of other fun designs outside of just the fun cow bracelets. In the past, I made a beaver collar, and the beaver pattern is from Soda Pop. Soda Pop also has a lot of cute cat patterns and other animals. Since making this pattern, I've also learned new techniques. For example, at the end of the video, you'll see how it ends up looking, and something I wish I would have done for this project that I will do for future projects like this is use the flat end technique. I'm not talking about the flat edges where you do a forward backward or a backward forward knot. I'm talking there's a specific method you can use to make your ends flat instead of having the base strings come out of the ends, and it's pretty common to do when making bookmarks, but that is definitely something I'm going to be looking at doing in the future. It is October 2nd. I'm a little slow to getting this video wrapped up, but I figured I would go ahead and share with you guys everything that I got finished towards the end of the month. To start, this is the dragon collar that I made. This is just some 1-inch biothane. I honestly don't even remember the color, but bright orange. And then I use leather thread to do a whip stitch and sew the bracelet onto the collar, and then I just kind of cut some pieces and overlay them and screw everything together. Next, we have the wall hanging, which I kept calling a keychain. I think I forgot that it was supposed to be a wall hanging. But anyways, here is the Chow Chow wall hanging. Ooh, thing keeps getting in the way. I took it to a market, that's why. There we go. This is the Chow Chow wall hanging. I honestly really love it. I think it's so cute. This past month was my friend's birthday. She's gonna actually be here tomorrow to receive this, but this is the little, oop, it's upside down. This is the little bracelet, which I didn't make it into a bracelet. I cut off the ends, and this is just gonna be a little desk decoration for her. It is the Money Cow by Soda Pop on bracelet book. Lastly, like I said, I know that I didn't really want to do new projects, but I did have a market, and I really, really liked this pattern, and I really, really wanted to make it. So I did. I don't know how many of you guys have seen it, but I decided to make a K-pop Demon Hunter bookmark keychain, whichever way the buyer prefers to use it. But this is Mira. This Mira pattern is by X Darkfire X on bracelet book. They also have a Rumi and Zoe pattern as well that I will be doing, but I did the knotting and then I found some old fabric that I've got and I cut it to size and sewed it on, and then there's also a piece of chipboard in here, and then I just made a little tassel and also added some cute little charms as well as my logo. With that being said, let's wrap up and discuss everything that I finished this month. I finished my sweater, the Chow Chow wall hanging, the dragon collar. Earlier in the video, I made elderberry syrup. I sewed up the car hammock I have for my dogs for the back seat of my car. And yesterday, I realized it's October 1st yesterday, but just wanted to lump it in the video. My partner had 3 pairs of shorts and a t-shirt that needed fixed. My dad actually fixed one of them because the zipper was busted and I didn't want to deal with it. But then I sewed on the pocket of another one, seam rips in the 3rd pair of shorts, so it fixed that. And then the t-shirt had seam rips along the inside of the sleeve, so it fixed all that up together. And that is going to be everything that I did this month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye!